Epic Endings Podcast, where heroes come to perish. Hey, I'm Rachel, the DM of Epic Endings Podcast. It is a 5th edition actual play podcast with a bit of a twist. While most parties are comprised of 3 or more players at an appropriate level going on adventures, this series of adventures is taken on by solo players at 20th level. I have 4 individual players, each playing one character and each playing alone. Each player is presented the same adventures, beginning with a level 1 adventure to see how they approach the problems and navigate different situations without the aid of a full party. Who will go the furthest? Will it be the dashing Cassius Day, the Divine Bard? What about our cautious and careful Thea Nightbreeze, Circle of the Moon Druid? Perhaps the rickety but feisty old Sai Amakir, a blade song wizard? Or will it be our timid and endearing Keldwyn Kinsbaron, the Life Domain Cleric? Find out on Epic Endings Podcast, where heroes come to perish. You can find us on all of your favorite podcasting services, Facebook and Twitter at Epic Endings Pod. Also, check out the blog over at thefemalepally.wordpress.com for show notes, anecdotes, and other write-ups on gaming.
Welcome back to Merely Roleplayers, where theatrical people play role-playing games. The spotlight today is going to be on Vikki.
Hello.
And also around the table we have colleagues Ellie.
Hello.
Dave.
Hello.
And Alex.
Afternoon.
So Vikki, we are putting together your character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us which archetype you picked? And this was a bit of a big decision. This one, we went through a couple of different options. So do you want to talk us through your decision-making process?
I've picked the Tempest, which I'm going to perform entirely as the Shakespeare play The Tempest. Oh no! Not with any normal words. No. I think I picked this because it's a little bit less like how I am normally, and I thought that would be interesting. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the main reasons. We also looked at a couple of others, and I think we decided that this gave us the kind of most rounded out set of skills as a group, so that's part of the reason as well.
And we'll get into exactly how the Tempest works in a moment, but shall we do stats first?
Stats.
The most exciting bit of any episode.
Let's moneyball this. So we have Volatile, Calculating, Slick, Stalwart, and Alien. We have a 2, a 1, 2 zeros, and a -1. Everybody other than Vikki. What do you think Vicky's stats should be?
Well, in conjunction with her character, Alien should be 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's without... We haven't gone through what the Tempest is yet, but I just, I know things. But that doesn't marry up with Vikki in real life, so I don't know how real life we're being with this.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because this is further away from people's reality, because in reality nobody is particularly... Well, I suppose people who are into ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking at
Stop
Alex.
looking at me! Vikki does really like supernatural shows, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a colleague when I was at this event I was at last week, and we were saying some of my colleagues had gone on a ghost walking tour of Boston, which is where we were. Yeah, I know. I was really jealous I didn't get to go. And we were talking about, we were saying, I don't believe in ghosts, but my colleague was like, but I'm always like, prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody please prove me wrong. And I was like, that is exactly how I feel about it. I do not believe in the supernatural at all, but I am desperate for somebody to prove me wrong.
Yeah,
like
and
desperate.
We're so ready to fight evil ghosts if they turn up.
So
we
ready.
know all the things.
I am so ready to both be proved wrong and called into action.
I've got so much iron and salt. I am good to go.
Stocking up,
Have
guys.
you ever combined the two?
They very often do in the TV show Supernatural. Anyway,
yeah.
we're not going to go down a Supernatural wormhole right now, but that's so that's just some little bit of context.
Yeah.
Another one, if you're thinking of assigning stats kind of based on the archetype, the other appropriate one is probably volatile, because the Tempest is kind of about like energy building up and needing to be unleashed, which is quite a volatile.
Like a storm.
Oh, hence the name. I see. It's very clever.
Yes, very good.
But then, of course, that does make me a little bit torn because Vikki in real life calculating is up there.
And Stalwart as well.
That's nice to hear.
It's not very slick though, so -1 in there.
Happy with that. Happy with that.
Got to balance out the compliments.
That is
Don't let her
so
get
accurate.
too full of herself. Yeah, no, I would definitely go Alien 2, Volatile 1, -1 Slick. Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm happy to go along with that spread.
Vix, how does that feel? As usual, you can swap a couple if that doesn't feel quite right to you, or if it doesn't suit kind of the way you're thinking of playing it.
I think it probably does.
Does it feel like a cruel judgment?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, damn it. We did it wrong, guys.
Yeah, like, oh god. I think so. I don't know what I would. I've just like kind of assessed it based on what I might swap, but I can't really see what I would swap. We can bump stuff up, right? When
Yes.
yeah.
If you fail.
You can bump each one once.
Okay, bump each one once. Okay.
Now, the signature move for the Tempest is called Oncoming Storm.
Uh-oh.
Boy, howdy.
Can I just read this little bit out?
Yeah, go
Your
ahead.
emotions are a swirling, unstable mess that can cause you to erupt in fits of passion and destruction.
Classic Vikki, right?
When you suffer frustration, disappointment, or emotional hurt, gain 1 storm.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you have this kind of meter
Eyebrows.
with 3 tick boxes in it, which is your storm. And you can spend that after you've built it up. Basically, whenever you do anything that is kind of angry or destructive in any way, you can choose to spend one of your storm that you've built up at the same time to get extra effects. Like you can smash something completely beyond repair, you can terrify the people around you, you can just make it easier for yourself to succeed on the roll. Stuff like that.
Sounds good. Could we just change the description to not say like emotional stress, just say hungry?
Yeah, just change it to hungry. When you are hungry, gain 1 storm. Yep, there's one.
I also like the idea of like every time you gain a storm, there's a little storm cloud that just appears around your head and just starts circling. We're like, uh-oh.
I also like the phrase, spend a storm. Just got to go spend a storm.
We might have to start using that. I have a quick question about spending storms. So when I spend a storm, it then goes, and then if something else makes me frustrated or disappointed, then I get another storm again.
Yes.
I like this a lot.
And when if you fill all 3 boxes, you have to do something with it.
Oh, like you've reached capacity, you have to explode.
When you hit capacity, you've got to either take stress to keep a lid on it, or you have to immediately spend it all at once.
Well, boy, that could be weird if we're not in a situation where that's useful and you just start like
no one
smashing
pissed
shit
me
up.
off. That's all I'm saying.
I'm getting a little bit of a... we've talked about is it Naomi Alderman, the book, The Power?
Yes. That's essentially how I'm seeing this, you guys.
Yeah. So we will work out a little bit about why you're like this with your background move. So you get 2 options to choose from for your background. You're either an orphan and you have basically nothing but this weird power, or you can be an experiment. So you were given this power kind of against your will.
Wolverine style.
So which one appeals?
So the 2 options for how... So the 2 things, for context, affect when I gather... Like when I encounter... Like it says, when you encounter this thing, directly relate to it and react poorly, immediately take 3 storm.
Yeah.
So there's 2 scenarios. One is you're reminded of your loss. That's the orphan. So, like, I have something that triggers the emotional memory of the family.
That could
I
happen
lost.
any time.
It gets worse, you guys.
Dad loved toast.
Yeah, exactly. The experiment. Wait for it. The experiment when you rail against authority or ignore orders.
Okay.
You may spend Storm as though you're lashing out or acting destructively.
Yeah, so ignoring orders counts as doing something destructive for the purpose of spending and getting advantages.
So I'm leaning towards the experiment because that just seems like more how I will play this game.
It's less sad also.
Yeah, that.
So we'll go with...
I colour that
I
in?
like that. Let's go with that.
The orphan one's good though because like we could trigger it on purpose to make
Yeah, you could just be like...
like when we're in a fight, be like, don't forget you've got no parents.
I feel like we could do that with the experiment as well, though.
Yeah, you can charge me up by being like, remember how they experimented on you and these are the people responsible, and then I'd just be like, punch through a wall or something.
Alternatively, just ask you to do stuff that you clearly don't want to do.
Yeah.
Just be
So
like,
then you're
do you see
defying
this
orders.
poo? Clean it up.
Yeah.
Stop pooing on the floor, Alex.
Yeah. As we all know,
How are you even creating that organic matter?
yeah, as we all know,
I'll never tell.
railing against authority is one of my favourite things to do, so that's what I'm going to go for.
So who did it? Because we've got some organisations.
What are my options here?
So there's the Core Conclave,
Yeah.
who their thing is mostly like keeping order and making sure that everything in the galaxy that needs to get somewhere gets somewhere. Like moving resources around, moving people around for like greatest
They're
efficiency.
the supply chain managers of the galaxy.
Yeah, like the algorithmically generated supply chain managers of the galaxy. So it doesn't seem like immediately within their wheelhouse, but they do also have this giant armoured Dyson sphere at the centre of the galaxy around a cluster of ultramassive black holes that are spewing proto-matter, which is the raw stuff of reality.
Right.
So, you know, they've got the resources to do this kind of thing if you think that it was them. Or we can make up some other organisation.
There are the glitches as well. It could be
What's
something
that?
to do with them. The glitches are the ones who are
The
off.
resistance.
They're the resistance. Yeah, they're off trying to get off the Conk's radar and
Take down the Conks.
take down the Conclave. They're kind of who.
Are you allied with them?
A little bit.
We do
kind of.
jobs for
We
them
do jobs for
sometimes.
them.
And if we had to pick a side.
You don't? Okay. I mean, I like the idea that kind of like Finn from new Star Wars movies. I have this kind of like child soldier. Although he has got no special abilities, which is very upsetting. But
Yet.
mostly just accidental Jedi stuff. I was thinking about something that is like I'm a defector from whoever we're fighting against, and they're some kind of experimental program of like taking children and trying to give them special powers, then kind of backfires
Well,
on them.
their whole thing, the Conks, is about seeing reality like possibilities, isn't it? So
Yeah, so that their main thing is they want to scan everything and like model the universe perfectly so that they can just run simulations and see like if we made this tweak, would it work? If we, you know, what effect would all of
So
this
I
have? They want
wonder
to
if
understand everything.
they've been trying to put some of what makes their simulation work into people.
Yeah.
To see whether you can then create people who can run simulations like in their head. So that then you wouldn't have to run the simulation from their magic Death Star situation. They could have people out in the field,
Decentralized.
like running simulations on site locally.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So it's almost a kind of clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like,
but
you can run the options.
Yeah, but it makes you unstable.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, the experiment's not a total success.
Yeah, and there's obviously like, I feel like unintended side effects. Like they've taken a human and tried to do these things and it achieved objective one, but the reason they're either still experimenting or the reason they stopped, trying to make me work is because of these unintended side effects, and they probably tried to dispose of me or keep me imprisoned, and I've somehow managed to River Tam style escape the authorities.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's kind of like the side effect. One of them could be that you can't control when you see a simulation, so you're like constantly having visions of possible futures.
Yeah, and I think it's probably like the explanation for the like when you lash out and use your storm is like they've accidentally given you some limited control over reality itself. So you have some like probably more Sith than Jedi, like Force lightning type sort of situations going on.
Yep.
Awesome. So we've got your stats, we've got your moves. I believe you are ready to play.
Okay, I'm ready.
You've been listening to Merely Roleplayers. You can look us up wherever you find podcasts, on Twitter @merelyroleplay and at facebook.com/merelyroleplayers. Reviews and kind words are all very much appreciated, and we hope you'll join us again for our next episode.